Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Alina, Ariadne's, and Alyssa's podcast. Today's segment, and only segment, is on writer's block and its effect on movie production. So, we as a group have collectively discovered that there is a dilemma in American cinema today where basically all the movies are kind of the same. They're all kind of like piggybacking on each other's ideas. And we've kind of connected that with writer's block and how screenwriters are not having any ideas about what to write, therefore they're turning to these ideas that have worked in the past, so it would work for them, and that means they get a movie out and people are semi-happy with it. So as young adults who either are currently writing or have written in the past, I'm sure you can sympathize with a screenwriter who's feeling the pressures of writing and for any multitude of reasons is experiencing writer's block. And basically, we're just going to talk about today what it means to have writer's block, what our sources say is the reason for writer's block, and how to overcome that, and then how that is connected to screenwriting. And hopefully, at the end of this, we can come to a mutual understanding about how writer's block affects screenwriting and what we can do to further the studies and hopefully one day get past it. All right, boys and girls, let's get straight into it. What is writer's block, right? Well, writer's block is the temporary inability to write. And where does that come from, you may be asking yourself? Well, that's a very loaded question, but we're going to go after that today. You see, because writing is so personal and subjective, it only makes sense that writer's block is too. But a few common beliefs that we've either come across from all of the research that we did or that we believe ourselves are either it's a fear to perform, and that could be because you want the best damn paper any small town professor has ever seen. Or maybe it's because you just haven't experienced enough. Either way, you're stunted. Writer's block is not fun. And somebody who understands that very well is Professor of Psychology Robert Boyce. He did a few studies that sort of helped us with the information we have for you today. So Boyce found to be most successful at getting his block students to write when he asked them to set predetermined rewards. So what he did here is eliminated the pressures of writing. He kind of allowed the writing to flow without writers actually worrying about how good or bad their writing is because they're just doing it for the reward. Boyce furthers his research by asking his examinees to lower their standards for writing. Basically, the reason we can't write, according to Boyce, is because we have these insanely high standards for our first drafts. We just assume that we're going to have a Quentin Tarantino level screenwrite, when in reality, that's going to take a lot of time to get to. So we should have lower standards for our first drafts and allow ourselves to get all our ideas out, whether they're good or bad, and then work from there. And honestly, I kind of get this on a personal level because I've discovered that whenever I write to impress people or to feel like a really good writer, I kind of shoot down all of my ideas and that leaves me with nothing. Whenever in reality, it would have worked if I had just worked on those ideas. So I think that, in a way, his findings are quite accurate and they're pretty realistic. I just feel like I feel a lot more satisfied when I'm writing for the sake of writing and not so much to get to any standards set by anyone. Okay, hi, this is Ariadne. That was Alina. Great job, Alina. You did a really good job explaining that source. I'm here to talk about our second source, which is a paper done by director Stephen Galloway. In it, he states, or rather questions, why write about something that you know nothing of? In order to get an idea of what you want to write about, you got to go out and experience it for yourself. Basically, his entire argument was that experience leads to ideas and the flow of your own writing. I feel like this is pretty accurate, actually, because in my experience, I've had plenty of times where when I write for school, for example, those STAR test prompts, it's about a topic that I don't know much about, and I have no idea how to start it, and I feel stuck. which really sucks because I can't write when I need to. Hey, it's Selena. I just wanted to point out the connection between these two sources, both on writer's block, but on different scenarios. So one being that your standards are way too high, therefore you should lower your standards so you can write again. And the second one being that you have writer's block because you can't really relate to your topic, in which case you could just get that experience and also be on your way to writing. Both would include you doing tons of writing. The first one would be writing many drafts so that you can get all your ideas out, and the second one being to record your experience so that when you finally do get to your writing, you can transfer that into what it is you're going to write. Whoa, that was some really good source talk you did there, guys. This is Alyssa, by the way, and I'm here to talk about the third source that we came across that is exclusively on screenwriting. It states that film writers aren't making original content. That's the biggest dilemma that we're facing currently in American cinema. They're not creating their own experiences, so it's not unique. It's kind of just directors and screenwriters creating the same ideas that are known to do good in the box office. So these movies are lacking in uniqueness because they're not showing us anything that we haven't already seen before. For instance, movies like Groundhog Day and Happy Death Day. We've seen it 100 times of this person living the same day over and over. And for some reason, that idea is really interesting in people. And so that idea is going to continue to get made because of this dilemma. Another great example of this is movies like The Fault in Our Stars and 5 Feet Apart. These two movies are about teenage kids falling in love even though they struggle with an illness. And that idea has been made hundreds of times. So much so that they have to tweak it, even if it's just a little bit, just to not create the same exact movie. And they do it with films like Every Day or Midnight Sun. They change it by not making both characters sick, but still having their illness and their love being the two biggest factors in the movies. Alright, so the connection that we've made here between screenwriting and writer's block is basically that writers need to write. And not for any particular reason other than the fact that they're passionate about what they're creating. So I guess when it really comes down to it, screenwriters just need to abandon all those thoughts about whether their movie is going to get big or not and just write out of the ideas in their head. And they would have those ideas if they continue to write, whether they're lacking in ideas right away or the fact that they don't just have experiences. I guess it's a good as time as any to talk about why this topic was so hard to research. And it's honestly because there's a big gap in the research that is out there. And that gap is female writers. And as women, all three of us, I guess if you could call us women, we don't feel that there is enough representation in these studies to have the information be completely accurate. How could you put out information about writer's block and about screenwriting and even the connection between those two when there is this huge demographic being ignored? Yeah, I'm Alyssa again, and I just wanted to point out that my source only talked about male directors and male screenwriters. All the movies that were used to talk about why movies are being replicated over and over were only based off of information from male screenwriters. Yeah, this is Alina again. Honestly, that's crazy how we just are missing a huge chunk of the screenwriting community, and we're just using this research as if it's complete, which it's not. And so we think, collectively as a group, that the most efficient way to get quality research and quality studies that can be used to find the answers to this dilemma would be just interviewing female writers as much as you do male writers. And that's exactly what we did. We went out and we interviewed many writers, including female writers, which we thought was very forward. And one that we would like to recreate right now is the one we did with our English teacher, Miss Johnson. So pretend I'm Miss Johnson. Alright, hey, what's up, you guys? Uh, the hardest thing to do is basically just to get started. Just practice and try to set a time for yourself to get it all out. I used to struggle a lot in my younger years, but now that I'm older, I realize that I should be more accepting of the writing that I'm doing. And I'm able to take out the pieces that I don't like and work with the parts I do like. Alright, guys, so we talked about a lot today, and I hope that now we're on the same page about how writer's block affects screenwriting and how basically the most you can do is write and write and write and write until you've got what you're looking for, and to not stop because you're afraid of performing. Hopefully more studies can be done that are accurate and aren't lacking in diversity, and hopefully that research will help us further our understanding about what we can do to help these screenwriters continue to write and continue to write ourselves. So for all you writers out there, keep on writing, and I hope you have a very great time. All right, thank you.